Kid Podcast. We're back, and we're going to be giving you more Curious Kid Podcast content than ever before.
We are returning to weekly episodes, so you can check every Sunday morning. And you will have a fresh episode of Curious Kid Podcast to enjoy.
This is going to be season 11 of the podcast, which will take us from next week all the way through the end of the year.
Lots of podcasts take time off for the holidays, but not us. We started working on some of the episodes for season 11, and we can't wait for you to hear what we have.
We can't share lots of the details with you, but we do have two big reveals at the end of this mini episode. We are going to tell you the super special guest that will join us next week in our baseball episode. And we will also share the topics for the first 5 episodes of season 11. Before we get to that, let's reveal the results of the last episode of the Great Sibling Showdown. In that episode, Olivia and Noah debated whether daylight saving time should exist. Drum roll, please. With 53% of the total vote in what turned out to be a very close debate, most of our listeners think that daylight saving time should exist.
Thank you to everyone that voted, especially the listeners that agree with me that daylight saving time should exist. One of those listeners, Inez from Macau, said, "Daylight saving time allows people to enjoy outdoor activities like gardening, biking, or spending time with friends and family after work when there's more sunlight." Thank you to all of the listeners that voted that daylight saving time is a waste of time, like James and Margot of New York City, who said, "We agree with Noah because if it's too sunny out late, it's much harder for people to fall asleep. You could also lose so much more sleep, and sleep is very important and healthy."
We loved doing the Great Sibling Showdown episodes, so thanks so much for listening and participating. It's now time to reveal the first 5 topics for season 11. We are going to get curious about baseball, hedgehogs, 3D printers, rainforests, and vacuums.
But there are lots of other things to get curious about. Let us know what you're curious about by filling out an episode topic suggestion form. You can find the link in the episode notes.
We used to ask for suggestions by email, but it was hard to keep up with the amount of emails we were receiving. So if you're curious about something we haven't covered yet, even if you already sent us an email, please fill out an episode topic suggestion form. The topics for all of the episodes after the first 5 of the season are up for grabs. So let us know what you're curious about today.
Also, you are definitely going to want to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more content from the podcast.
For early access to ad-free episodes and lots of other perks, you can also support the podcast on Patreon. All right, folks, it's time to let you know who our very special guest for next week's episode is going to be.
Next week, I'm going to interview 3-time World Series champion Mike Stanton in our episode on baseball. Mike Stanton won 3 World Series championships as a pitcher for the New York Yankees, and he was awesome enough to answer a few questions for me. We can't wait for you to hear about the history of baseball, the rules of baseball, unbelievable facts about baseball, and of course, the amazing interview with Mike Stanton.
Buckle up, because we have a lot of learning and fun coming at you in season 11. Until next week, thank you so much for listening and getting curious with us.